Very bad. Thank you all so much for tuning into the PHNX Coyotes Postgame Show. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah here with Petey and Craig. We got Danielle behind the Mac. We have Raz in the studio. And unfortunately, the Coyotes blow a 2-0 lead, allow 3 unanswered goals, and fall to the Calgary Flames in overtime. Second loss to the Flames in as many weeks. Who would like to start with some commentary?
I'm just jealous of Harold because Harold's going to bed. So he's not staying up to talk about the Coyotes. Why do we have to do it? Here's reality. The playoff teams win those games.
Yep.
You have a 2-goal lead in the third period of a game that you must win on the road. Played a pretty good road game. I mean, boring, slow, all of those things were true. Did everything, I won't say everything right because they didn't create a lot of offense, but you're up 2-0. So what we've said about the Coyotes all the time is they can't make mistakes. And you clearly can't make them in the third period when you're up by 2. And to my point, playoff teams win those games. You find a way to close those games out. And this is just part of the process, the maturing process and the learning process of figuring out how to win games and close games out. And unfortunately, the Coyotes aren't there yet. That wasn't good enough. I do think there were huge mistakes on both of the goals. Maybe we'll talk about those tomorrow on a Peace Puck Talk. We'll see because it's a little grumpy. But they made mistakes. And it's not just 1, it's 2 and 3 that lead to those goals. But then you get to the overtime. And there's honestly no excuse for too many men on the ice. Yeah. I know the coach didn't like it, and Andre was pissed, but it's too many men on the ice.
It was. It was. Let's say that outright, because I know a lot of people were challenging it in the chat, or people on Twitter saying, "Oh, it's just the referees out to get the Coyotes." No, it was too many men on the ice. It's a blatant penalty.
The crowd saw it.
We all saw it. It was a blatant penalty. Nothing wrong with that call.
It's a penalty.
Yeah.
Very Canadian crowd to call it out loud, by the way. That was very Canadian.
And so those, you cannot, that's not a roughing penalty or a hooking penalty where you're saving a goal on a breakaway. It's a too many men on the ice penalty. Clearly preventable.
Yep.
Does Cooley need to get off the ice faster? Yeah, probably does. You jump over the boards. Don't go to the door. Jump over the boards.
I was wondering the same thing. He went to the far door.
Yeah.
You notice that?
I mean, it's just those little mistakes. Cooley had a chance to win overtime twice, unable to do it. I think Cooley will get that. You know, if he gets another opportunity, I think he's still working on building his confidence in this league. And so for me, it's a really disappointing loss for this team that was doing things right, even with only 3 shots on goal through 20 minutes. It was 0-0. That's what you wanted.
On the road, especially.
Yeah, against a team that flat out embarrassed you a few nights ago in Mullet Arena. You had them. You had them. And it's just unfortunate that it had to come down. First, shouldn't have gone to overtime. And secondly, you can't take that penalty in overtime. So it's a tough loss for this team.
Yeah, I don't want to make too much of it, but this is one of those losses where you look back and say this was a crushing loss. Because you looked at some of the other things that were happening. Of course, Edmonton came back and rallied against Toronto anyway, but Calgary's a team you're battling for this spot, and they just embarrassed you on your own sheet of ice. So you need to come back and you need to win this game. Adding insult to this, and we still don't have a report on what's going on with Nick Schmaltz, who left late in the second period. With Petey, we looked at the hit, and it didn't seem like much, but we don't have anything yet from Coyotes media relations on him, and that's surprising, to be honest, because usually you get it after they go out for the next period. So I don't know what's going on.
Did not return, though.
Yeah.
Not a good sign. And somebody said that's one of the things that Keller needs. And Keller and Schmaltz play extremely well together, but Keller's an all-star. He's been in this league long enough. He can play with anybody. And I don't know. I'm really disappointed in the way this game unfolded for this team. And if not for Ingram again, this game could have been out of hand much, much earlier than overtime. Like Connor Ingram was exceptional again tonight. So I am curious though. Gets the shutout in Minnesota, so you have to give him the start in Calgary.
Yeah.
Now what?
Boy, I don't know, because you're going into Vancouver against it.
Start him again.
Yeah, I don't think there's a question.
That's
If I'm in the coach's room,
but
my
like
vote,
we haven't been right
Ingram.
many times.
My vote's Ingram if I'm in the coach's room tomorrow morning and they ask my vote, which literally held no weight in the coach's room, but they asked me anyway. I would have said Ingram, and they'd say why, and I would say because he has a level of calmness to his game right now, and he's playing extremely well, and he's one of the top 5 goalies in the league right now, and so I think you need to play him if you're playing statistically the best team in the NHL right now. First overall, at least in this morning when I woke up, they may not be now, was the Vancouver Canucks.
Let's take a look at the numbers in this one, presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona's #1 credit union, named by Forbes. Flames outshot the Coyotes 33-27. As PD mentioned, the shots on goal in the first period were 6-3 Calgary, so kind of a weird first there. Calgary 1 for 5 on the power play. The Coyotes just took a lot of penalties in this one, 0 for 3 on their own power play. Shot attempts, the Coyotes had 62. The Flames had 55. But yeah, that too many men penalty is what got them in the end. With 16.7 seconds left, if they could have just held on to the shootout, it would have, maybe they would have had it. But again, like we've already said, it was just, you just can't do that. And in 3-on-3 overtime of all things, that's what bothers me, because this team is notorious for taking too many men penalties. Especially
it's easier to count when there's only 6 guys on the ice.
Yeah, especially with 11-7 like they played tonight. But in overtime, it's just tough. And I think blatantly put it well. The Flames are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Huh. Do you know where that is? Dennis Green.
Denny Green.
Little Minnesota Viking reference.
Crown their ass, then crown their ass.
Against was it the Cardinals or was it
the Bears?
Was
the
it
Monday
Bears?
Night Meltdown. I was there.
Bears?
I covered it.
I remember watching the game, but I was probably drunk. So
and then Nick said, I've never seen a penalty like Kerfoot got. This is the second time in like a week the Coyotes have taken a penalty that you go, wait, what? Because they have to explain it, and it's really weird. But I think it gave us one of the best Andre Cherney reaction moments of all time. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can check it out on our Twitter at PHNX_Coyotes. But yeah, that was a stupid penalty. The too many men was a stupid penalty. And in the end, they shot themselves in the foot. Like, they had this game. It was 2-0.
They did have this game.
They had it.
Yeah, and they did it by doing things that we talked about before. They drove the net, they got to the net hard, and they defended in the first period. And I think when we were talking about this game after the Minnesota game, I said the most important period is the first period. And I thought they were exceptional. 6-3 in shots, didn't give up any really difficult scoring chances, didn't create any either. Yeah. And that's with a power play on each side of the ice, and you still didn't have any major scoring chances. But again, we talked about the Kerfoot penalty. He almost did the same thing in overtime.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it's just instinctual. It comes up. I know Brad Richardson, if early in his career that penalty was called, he'd be in the penalty box all the time. And Antoine Vermette, the rule came in later. You can't touch puck with your glove. You can't do it. It's a rule. So don't do it. They did it to themselves tonight. I'm going to take a deep breath, because we said yesterday in the 41 game recap show that they've taken a step forward. They have. Now you've got to grow and find a way to win games like this in a tough environment on the road against a team that really needed those points. Also, even when it went to overtime, that's a point you couldn't give Calgary.
Yeah.
You needed to get that game, and you needed to get it in regulation. So here's what I wonder now is you lose that game in overtime. What's the mood in the Coyotes locker room immediately after that loss?
Oh, you got to be disappointed.
And does it get to the point that the frustrations now are coming in, and now the fingers start getting pointed? And that's when you're in trouble. When hey, you did this or you did that. That's when you get in trouble. And I don't know if this team is there yet, because I think their veteran leadership is strong enough. But it's coming. And this team is they're in trouble. And,
they're teetering. They're teetering right now. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got the Vancouver Canucks, who were first in the NHL. And they score a lot of goals. And that's not a good recipe for a Coyote team right now that's struggling. And if they have to go in without Nick Schmaltz.
Yeah. And I know we're going to get to the upcoming schedule a little later on, but when you look at the tail end of this stretch just before the All-Star break, it's a nasty stretch. So, yeah, this is a defining moment for the Coyote season.
Going back to the silly mistakes or unnecessary things, Kesselring's cross-check and roughing on Zary. Is that how you say his name?
Zary, yeah.
Yeah, that was wild. Like, that felt so unnecessary. Like, I get it. He bumped into Ingram, so he's standing up for him, but it was just like over the top unnecessary. Again, like going back to shooting themselves in the foot, and nothing came of that. It was in the first period, but it could have. I mean,
Jason Demers like that, actually.
Yeah, and I was
he
gonna
liked
say,
the bite in his game there.
One of the things when you're in the locker room and you're on the bench, you can take the physical tough penalties. You can take that. You don't want to see offensive like ticky-tacks, like a hooking or something like that. I don't mind a guy standing up for his goalie in that situation. I want to see more of that from Kesselring. Maybe not where he's sitting in the penalty box, but you want to see that edge of his game that I don't know. It's coming. It's coming.
Leah,
all of those things are
Petey
coming.
and I are both biased because we're goaltenders, so we like to see
stand up for your
goaltenders be defended.
But you're right, Leah. He can't take a penalty there.
Yeah,
I
just felt like it was.
There's a lot of goalies in the room, and if Danielle,
do not play goalie when you play hockey. Don't do it.
You know why Danielle wouldn't be goalie? Because she's
I think too it needs to be
gotta have that
action.
A little bit of zen to be a goalie, and I think she'd be a power forward.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. No, I don't have that.
Yeah, you don't have that.
No zen.
Wait, can I follow up on that?
Yes.
When you look at Petey and you look at me, do you think zen?
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair.
Probably not.
Especially not Petey.
I think Craig, you definitely have more zen than Petey.
Petey is the his photo is in like the antonym section under the definition of zen. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, it wasn't all bad tonight. We do have a dog, and this dog was the benefactor of a What Chaos bump today. If you missed it, Sean Durzi was a guest on What Chaos, an all-city hockey show. They cover the NHL. I'm sure you know them. They're on our show weekly, but he was a guest on their show. Phenomenal interview. If you missed it, it's on their YouTube channel, the full 52 minutes on the What Chaos YouTube. But he, much like Walking and Talking bump, I think the What Chaos bump is real. Sean Durzi scores his 7th of the season tonight and gets an assist on the Logan Cooley goal. So for those reasons, Sean Durzi has that Desert Dawg in him. Great performance from Durzi tonight.
Yeah, I thought this is the best game he's played, and not just the offensive side, because we've seen that from Sean Durzi before. But he had an extra step in his game on the defensive side, too. I thought he defended extremely well. You saw the big hit he had in the third period on the blue line. Durzi is more than advertised from the LA Kings. We had heard a lot from the Kings staff and people around their organization saying, kid's got the offensive upside, but he can't defend. And I thought he was exceptional tonight. I think he was the best Coyote tonight. And we had Ingram in the running for the Desert Dawg for the first 2.5 periods. Unfortunately,
if you
kind of
type out the words "shutout" in our Discord, like I'm gonna ban you from our Discord.
Is that major again?
Yes. And look, he just sent a super chat to try and make up for it.
And how about Bees? Bees saying again. Sky is fine.
Yeah,
Bees.
Can we show Bees' comment? It was funny. It said. No, above that.
One more.
So to recap, Sky is falling. All his lost season is over. Why even try any longer?
I was going to say pretty much.
That is the vibes tonight.
Sorry, Bees. We'll bring hope tomorrow. We're just not bringing hope today.
Yeah. Did you have anything more to say on Durzi?
No, I just think that again, this team is not ready for the playoffs. I'm sorry, they're just not. They're getting there, and a player like Sean Durzi at 24, 25 years of age, this is the guy they can grow with. And he's a guy that when you turn the corner, we're talking 3 years from now, Simasev, Boot, Mavlam, Geeky, all of those guys we've talked about, and you throw a veteran Sean Durzi on the back end and a veteran Clayton Keller on the power play, now you're talking about a team that can roll 4 lines, can be physical on the back end, and I think that's what you're hoping to grow with a guy like Sean Durzi. I think this is just the beginning of a guy that's going to play extremely well for a very long time.
Okay, Roaring Fork. I appreciate you trying to make up for it. This is all my fault. Stop blaming the hockey players and coaches for what happened in the hockey game. If you know, you know. We do know, Roaring Fork, but thank you for the $10 anyway. I will take that $10 and file it away in my Desert Financial Credit Union checking account. $210 I will have, because when you open a checking account at Desert Financial Credit Union, you get $200 in bonuses. Craig banks there, so it's good enough for you, because if it's good enough for Craig, it's probably too good for you, as we like to say here on this show. But Desert Financial, they do savings accounts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and more. So whatever you're looking for with banking, they have you covered. And like I mentioned, when you open a free checking account online, get $200 in bonuses. You can get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200.
And after you save your $200, take it all, the $200 you saved, and
all of it.
Run down to Burrito Express. Because you imagine how much food you can buy
So
for
much.
$200 at Burrito
So
Express?
much.
Buddy, on campus. That's an on-campus treat on the ASU campus. By the way, they're a huge supporter of ASU athletics at Burrito Express. Make sure you check them out on Twitter at BurritoEXP. They have everything you need for what? Burritos. Like, they're massive. Remember, we get them for breakfast burritos here, and literally, I know it's a big surprise. I'm not a real big guy. Like, that's a 2 or 3 meal burrito. I'm not kidding. And we're still trying to find out what Michaela did to the Burrito Express burrito.
to the salsas.
Salsas?
Yeah, she hoards the
Why not the burritos? The salsa. The salsas. Anyway, they're the favorite burritos in the city. Check out the Tempe location when you're on campus. They're a big sport of ASU athletics, so make sure you support them right back. Again, grab a burrito and follow Burrito Express at Twitter at BurritoEXP.
Do we have an update?
Yeah, well, Michael, one of our diehards, is there actually because we know he lives in Calgary and he was covering the game tonight. And Andre Tourigny said that Schmaltz is just day-to-day. He's questionable for Thursday's game against Vancouver, so it doesn't sound that serious. But obviously they would like to have Nick Schmaltz in for that game in Vancouver because, as we keep saying, the games are getting more and more important and they can't afford to fall any farther behind than they are right now.
I also think it's interesting that he said neither Sean Durzi nor Andre Tourigny offered up any comment when asked post-game about the too many men penalty in overtime.
Yeah.
So very interesting. But we don't have to dwell on that any longer. I want to talk about Logan Cooley, who finally scored after what felt like he would literally never score again. I think I said that in Discord, and then he scored. So you're welcome, Logan. He gets his 4th of the season on a really good play set up by Durzi and Keller, and had a few more opportunities to end this game, a couple breakaways in this one. Just couldn't get the finish, but happy to see Logan Cooley get on the score sheet because 4 goals in 42 games, I don't think that's what any of us expected for Logan Cooley.
He's still going to be seeing that one in OT in his sleep. Boy.
Yeah, he was on the bench. He looked like disgusted.
Yeah.
It's funny because every game we sit here on the postgame show and we say, oh, Logan Cooley's taking a step forward, or Logan Cooley was a little better tonight, or we saw a little more jump in Logan Cooley's game tonight. But it's just not quite there.
No.
Like you just want that little bit more. And I'm thrilled he got a goal today. And he went to the net and we talk about the ability to go to the net. You see the goals tonight scored by this Coyote crew. It's by going to the net. And Logan Cooley did that, and he's not afraid to mix it up. He plays a lot tougher than his size shows, but you just want to make that next step, right? Like you get a breakaway in overtime, and we all sit there and go, that's a Logan Cooley moment.
Yes,
like that's it. And people say he was bad on breakaways. You're out of your mind.
That's why he was drafted, right?
He's
like
unreal.
for plays like this. Yes.
He's got some of the best hands on this team. Like, come on. No, he's outstanding in breakaways. He just missed the net. And I don't know if he's trying so hard to live up to the expectations of what Logan Cooley is supposed to be that he just doesn't let the game happen. I think in college he was just Logan Cooley, just go play. And I think here he's trying to meet those expectations, and maybe he's grabbing the stick tighter, maybe he's trying too hard. But those moments like that, he's got to score. Like he has to score, and that's where he's going to elevate his game. And finally, we can stop saying, "Well, he's growing and he's taking baby steps." No, take a big giant leap, score in overtime. A huge goal, make your second goal of the game. That's what we need to see from Logan Cooley. I know he's getting better. I know he's playing more physically engaged. I know he's having these little spurts of offense, but he's got to score on opportunities like that to truly arrive as one of the top rookies in the game.
Wanted to ask you about another player who's gotten the chance to play with him. Everybody was excited when Dylan Guenther got called up, and he had, some success early on. His minutes have been shaved recently. I don't know what you saw from Dylan Guenther.
Yeah, Leah and I were sitting by each other in the more furniture chairs, and I tell you what, he didn't have that same. He had one shot on goal that we liked, and that's what he ended up with: one shot on goal, 3 attempts. Yep. When you look at Cooley had 8 attempts, which tied Zucker for the most on the team for attempts. I thought this was the first time that I said Guenther probably took a step backwards, and I think that after you play so many games, this is where. This schedule starts to wear on you, and you start to get tired, and the pace of play is picking up, and that adrenaline that was there when you first got called up is no longer there. Now it's part of the grind. I'm not saying he can't get that back, but this was the first time he didn't go, wow, his pace. And I think the first 2 games he got called up, everybody's comments were, wow, he's playing fast, and look at his pace. And I didn't get that sense tonight in Calgary.
Yeah, and Andre has said, look, when Dylan Guenther's on the ice and he's not producing offensively, he can still put him out there because he trusts him. He's a responsible player. And that's true. He, by and large, he has played that way. But that's, again, not why Dylan Guenther is here. And again, you shouldn't come away with anything from this game that is definitive about Dylan Guenther's ability to stick in the NHL. It's also one game or a couple games now that we've strung together, so you can't judge him on this sample. But that's the idea, right? It's a day-to-day evaluation.
Exactly.
Don't get too excited after those first 2 games. Maybe don't get too depressed after these last 2. But over a body of time now here, we're gonna get a feel for whether Dylan Guenther belongs with this club after the All-Star break.
And one of the other things too, though, is that the line jumbling playing 11-7, and with the injury to Schmaltz and the limited ice time to Liam O'Brien in the third, then you know what you didn't see? You didn't see that Krause, Bukestad, Michelli line out there to calm things down.
Yeah,
you know, because Michelli's playing up with Keller because Schmaltz is hurt, and and Bukestad's out there with Cooley and Guenther at times, and even then you're shuffling those lines. You just always feel when this team really needs a moment of calm, you just throw the Bukestad, Krause, Michelli line over the boards, and they're not there to do that anymore. And I don't know if there's just to bring that sense of calm back to reality. Now you throw Bukestad with 2 rookies. So I still think they've got to get back from their injuries, and hopefully Schmaltz can play, because this one's, you got to put it behind you. You got to learn from it, grow from it, but you better be ready to play when you step on the ice in Vancouver, because that team, and they haven't faced a team like this in a while. They can put up the kind of numbers that the Vancouver Canucks can put up.
So the Coyotes haven't won in Calgary in a very long time. Craig, when is the last time?
True?
When is the last time the Coyotes won at the Saddle Dome?
April 3rd, 2018.
2018?
That's 6 years ago for those keeping track.
2018?
Boy, buddy, I can think of some rough losses. Do you remember the one right before the bubble too, where they hit that 2-game skid there in Winnipeg? And
that was a tough game. It's a tough building to play in.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. And Calgary plays better at home. They're heavier at home. It's a miserable building, and I know you've been there.
We got Raz sitting behind the back here. Calgary
building stinks.
No, it's worse. Yeah, sometimes it literally does stink.
It literally does stink. It's a different building to play in. And in the NHL, this is one of the buildings where the fans are literally on top of you. Like, this is a tight building. The fans can make such an impact there. And it's dark and it's gloomy underneath, and the locker rooms are dark and gloomy. You just get on the ice and you feel dark and gloomy, and it's cold and dark and gloomy outside. And it's just hard to get
sometimes
that.
They flood it too. Sometimes it's an
dark and
gloomy, and then they're just on top of you, and then they're just physical, and you go, "Oh shit, we're behind by 2." And so to come in this building and have them on the run, is just frustrating.
Yeah,
like and let's call it the way it is. When it's 2-0 with 11 minutes to go in this game, Matt Dumba's got the puck on his stick behind his net. The Coyotes have full possession with a 2-goal lead behind their net, and then they don't. Yep. And I want to say something, though. I'm not blaming Matt Dumba on that play. He literally has no play but to rim that puck. He has to rim that puck. He's under pressure. That's puck's coming hard, rimmed off. Anderson just beats Michelli to the puck. Michelli has to be first on, has to be inside Anderson. Has to be. Period. There's no exception. He has to be inside Anderson to stop that puck.
And then on the game-tying goal, I mean, Troy Stetcher gets beat wide, and then you've got not one, but two guys defending. Kesselring, I mean, tie up the stick. Again, that's your job in front of the net. So,
and we talked about Kesselring being physical in the crease. If you'd have been physical there, you want to blow up Kadri in the crease, take your 2-minute penalty. That's when you take the 2-minute penalty. He's out of reach. Well, then take him out.
Yep.
Like Kesselring's got to learn that. He's got to be able to take the man to the net, and that means under stick. And that means if this is Tkachuk, you got to be under his stick like that, drive him to the net. That's his job. And unfortunately, the same thing happened. He's got to be able to defend that. And I think even they've got to do a better job of defending their net front. Period. Yeah. It's been a problem for this team for a long time. When we talk about the defense, they're learning and they're growing. That's one of the skills that they need to be better at. And it's okay. You just got to learn from it. You got to be better because that's a skill you need to acquire. You got to be under sticks when guys are driving the net.
There's a few things that feel like happen to the Coyotes a lot. One is taking a lot of too many men penalties. The other is allowing shorthanded goals against. The other is allowing goals against within 3 minutes of scoring, and that happened again tonight with Calgary scoring 2 minutes and 17 seconds after Logan Cooley's goal, and then again a minute 3 after that. And at that point, like there was no 2-1 for the Coyotes to hold on to. It was 2-2 right away, and the building came alive. I mean, credit to the Calgary fans. It was a really good atmosphere for the Flames. They were chanting all along, but that just feels like yet another thing that continues to happen to the Coyotes, and another thing that as they take this step forward, they're going to have to improve upon year over year. So yeah, it has been a very doom and gloom vibe. I think the energy is more frustration than anything, because they had it. Like it wasn't one where they were down 2-0, came back, tied it, got to overtime, lost, but still got that unexpected point. That's frustration is the biggest thing, and it's not going to get any easier. So let's take a look at the upcoming schedule. We already mentioned Vancouver, of course, on the road this Thursday, and then home on Saturday against Nashville. Nashville is right up there in the wild card race, so that's a huge, not only 2 points, but a 4-point game for the Coyotes. And then next week, I mean, they play some really tough teams. Penguins in town Monday, and then they hit the road for Florida, Tampa, Carolina. Oy, that's going to be a tough one. So this is a really rough schedule heading into the All-Star break for the Coyotes.
2 must-wins Thursday, Saturday. I don't know how else you put it. If you want to stay in the playoff hunt right now, those points are too valuable. When Edmonton is continuing to do what they're doing, Seattle is still on fire. You have to. And now guess who's on fire is the Calgary Flames.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah, I did not realize I said that until I said it. Sorry. Ironic. I don't know. So they have to win, and they've got to find a way to win in Vancouver, another building that they struggle at, and then you have to come home less than, by the time they land, it's barely 24 hours, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Horrific scheduling to play the Nashville Predators, a team that they need to beat.
Yep.
And if you drop those two and then have to go on the road to Tampa, Florida, and Carolina, it's funny. We've said this before about this team when they go on a trip like that and we go, oh, they got no chance, and then they sweep the trip. I'm not sure they can do that if they lose 3 out of 4 here, because you're going to go on that road trip and be pretty disappointed in your performance.
Yeah, and I think they're scheduled to land at 3:30 a.m. by the way. So wow, the next day just lost.
Yeah.
Well, you're already into the next day by the time you land. So yeah, that's a rough.
Yeah, and with no morning skate either, so you won't skate and you won't practice on Friday. You won't have a morning skate on Saturday. So you're going from game in Vancouver to game against Nashville. Mm-hmm. That's going to be really a tough game at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Yep. But it is on the good news though. It's Bucket Hat Day. 90s
True.
Bucket Hat Day, and Leah and I need bucket hats. So
Craig and Raz.
If Craig and Raz are going to that game,
get those
some
bucket hats. We want them.
Yeah, we all know this here in the studio. I'm all about the free shit, and that's free shit, and I want it.
We'll collect them.
Enough said.
Raz and I will collect them.
Thank
you. Put them on eBay. So.
For us to bid on.
How is Brock Besser's name pronounced? Besser.
There's your answer.
Fighting Sue Brock Besser. Who's
man.
going out to dinner tomorrow night with who?
Shane, how do you want to pronounce Brock Besser's name? How would you like it to be pronounced?
Craig, who is Brock Besser going out to dinner with tomorrow night?
Connor Garland.
He's going out with Connor Garland.
Yep.
Brock Besser is going to dinner with Connor Garland. And...
Oh, Brock Besser's going?
Nick Schmaltz and Clayton Keller.
Nick Schmaltz and Clayton Keller.
Oh.
The 4 of them. Because Schmaltz is a North Dakota guy. Besser's a North Dakota guy.
Oh, I didn't know Besser was in on
and
that.
Garland and G are nearly great friends. And speaking of Connor Garland, Craig?
Yup. Are we doing this now?
Sure. I might as well.
Leah's like, wait, this is not my script anymore.
Yeah,
but...
you go on, Petey.
Yeah. Petey and I got a chance to catch up. Petey and I got a chance to catch up with former Coyote and current Vancouver Canuck Connor Garland today for an audio-only episode of the PHNX Coyotes podcast. That will drop tomorrow at 10 a.m., I believe, Leah.
I don't know, whatever Leah says. She might not drop it now.
Yeah, she might be angry with you. So
correct.
I can't blame her.
Yeah, it was a great interview.
It was a really good interview.
And I hate to tell people this, but I like to tell people this because, it's fun to say it. Some of the best stuff came after Petey stopped recording, and it was Petey that stopped recording.
I know, but we said thanks, goodbye, and then we shouldn't have said goodbye because then he was great. Yeah. 5 more minutes of
he was great.
Content.
Period, though.
He was great.
It was a great interview.
It was a really good
listen
interview.
To it. Listen to it tomorrow. It'll tee you up.
Yeah.
For the Vancouver Canucks game.
And he talks a little bit about how the Canucks play and what to look for in that game.
And Rick Tocchet.
He talks a lot about Rick Tocchet.
You want to say how bad Rick Tocchet was as a coach in Arizona? Maybe we should tune into this.
He talks about Clayton Keller. He talks about his time in Arizona with Tucson. It's a really good interview. The weather, donuts. Chikrin, Gilbert, the city of Gilbert.
Coke.
Gilbert did come on.
Coke, the drink.
Not the
drug.
Yeah.
Good
Kellen.
Lord.
Phil Kessel.
My goodness.
Phil Kessel.
So listen to it again tomorrow at 10 a.m., Wednesday at 10 a.m., wherever you get your podcasts. Audio only, so you must subscribe to get it in your feed. And you can listen to it on your way to Gila River Resorts and Casinos. What a great time out there at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. They have locations all over the valley. Great restaurants, great casinos. They have the BetMGM Sportsbook out at Wild Horse Pass. It's a grand old time. We love Gila River Resorts and Casinos. And if you're looking for a staycation, I don't know if you noticed, but Arizona is the only place in the country not getting hit by the polar vortex right now. So it's always a good time for a staycation. I think the high the next couple of days is like 71, 73.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Twist my arm. Go head on over to Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You can visit playatgila.com for more details.
And then download the Circle K app and become part of the Circle K inner circle. And here's a couple things about them. First of all, they've got the Polar Pops. Not only are they the coldest pops, they fit in your cup holder, but what? Cups don't sweat. And I know we're not there yet. It's in the 70s tomorrow. It matters.
It is going back.
If
That's
you
right.
park
Yeah,
in
we're
the
warming up.
sun,
Buddy,
like
it
No
matters.
polar vortex here.
But I'm going to say something, Circle K. I got a little problem.
ooh,
Uh-oh.
with Circle
no.
K. And more importantly, I've got a problem with Max.
Oh,
our
no.
salesperson who's responsible for the Circle K snack cart. We rely on the Circle K snack cart to get through our Coyote games. The Circle K snack cart is a very important piece of our studio here at PHNX. And my favorite snack on the Circle K snack cart is out.
Okay.
The
It is
plain
no longer
chips?
there. The plain kettle cooked Circle K chips are no longer in the snack
That's
cart.
a tragedy.
So I
That
blame
is a
Max, not
tragedy.
Circle K, because Circle K has some of the best snacks, including the kettle cooked plain chips. Not the flavor, no, the plain. And the orange
Salt and
slices, we
pepper.
haven't had those since day one either. Come on, Max, get on this.
Can I
Salt
jump
and
in on
pepper.
this before you finish
Oh,
the
yeah,
you know
baked
the
goods?
key stuff?
The
Yeah,
donuts?
yeah. We've talked about baked goods for a while.
Oh,
and
my
in
baked goods
fact,
at Circle
You know,
K in
I
the
feel
morning?
like Max just waited Sean to pause out. And, he's going to
Baked
leave
goods in the
eventually,
morning.
so I won't have to fulfill that
The
one
Circle K
either.
coffee.
Now, we did finally get the fruit pies, and I appreciate the fruit pies, but I've been asking for a sleeve of donuts for a while. So let me talk directly to you, Circle K. I would like a sleeve of donuts on the
There you
Circle
go.
K snack cart.
And then
Same.
you know how you can get that? You should become part of the Inner Circle. Because with the Inner Circle, you get 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 Phillips and 3 cents per gallon every day after that. And you know what? All kinds of free stuff. And I bet you might be able to get some free snacks and donuts and drinks if you become part of the
You
Inner
do.
Circle. So join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details.
Blatantly goes, Petey's got a problem. Hide your Christmas decorations. Hide your postal workers.
Hey, by the way, for the
Oh,
people
God,
who
here
live
we
on
go.
74th Place,
Good Lord.
5th house down on the right, Uncle, it's January 16th. There is no reason, and I don't care about the 6 days or whatever that thing with the Epiphany.
Yeah, that was
Buddy,
10 days ago.
we
though.
blew
That was
the
10
Epiphany
days
up.
ago.
Blew the Epiphany. Turn off the goddamn lights, Uncle. They're on. Like my other neighbor said, they're on. I haven't had time. I had work. Fine, didn't turn them on. This son of a bitch has them on. Turn them off.
I'm going to have lights for the St. Patty's Day party.
Yeah, but if they're
Just with
green.
By the way, Craig has
Thanks
already
for bringing
sent
up the
the
lights. I
official
appreciate
invite
that,
for
blatantly.
St. Patty's Day.
It's out.
Thanks, Blake.
It's out.
It's out.
Oh my God, that was
PD, I
funny.
finally took down my Christmas tree.
But again, though, you work ridiculous hours, Danielle. I'm okay with that.
I've been meaning to tell you, I was afraid to bring it up on air, but I went to Circle K and I have an 11-gallon tank in my car,
Yes.
and I filled it up to 10.9 gallons in one fill. So I was like 0.1.
Is this just the Ryle PDF
Where is the
segment?
parenting there? Like, Raz, don't ever run your tank to the last little bar. When you get to the third bar, go, you know what, it's time. I go by 100 Circle Ks a day. I could swing into one and get gas because you know what? I don't know when there's going to be a pizza emergency or a burrito emergency and I need gas. Danielle, you're better than that.
the chat, PD rant.
Raz, you do you.
You do you.
Okay. Yeah,
All
is
right.
there more hockey to talk about?
So another frustrating part. Let's just keep on the negative vibes.
I'm in.
Another frustrating part of the night is the Coyotes, with a win tonight, really could have gained ground in the standings. Seattle lost again. Edmonton can't lose. They won their 11th straight. Toronto Maple Leafs are broken, but that we can talk more about on Friday. Come back from behind to beat Toronto. Edmonton now claims the first wild card spot. They have 49 points with 4 games in hand on a couple teams below them. And Arizona has 45 points. So instead of being 2 points out of a wild card, they are 4 points out of a wild card with the schedule that we just looked at. I mean, it's tough. And man, like we talked about how bad Minnesota was. They're only 4 points ahead of Minnesota. So there's really no room for error here. And they could have gained a lot of ground tonight that they didn't. So kind of just adds salt to the wound of the night.
It does. It does. There's nothing more to say. You've said it all.
Yeah, and there's still 38 games left, and I know there's a lot of hockey left, but it's those games on a schedule that you'll go back and look at, and this is going to be one of them that they'll sit there in April and go, gosh, we had that game. That's a huge swing, and it allowed Calgary to jump them.
Right. We'll be able to do that at some point, maybe. Yeah. I mean, the LA game, remember that one?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, where you had the lead. And
I try not to.
Yeah, a handful of those games.
And I really believe that the Edmonton Oilers are for real, and I think they're coming on strong now, and I think Seattle's going to be a playoff team, and Nashville seems to hang around. And now Calgary's playing better hockey too, and they've got good goaltending. So it's going to be extremely difficult. Not impossible, extremely difficult, but you can't lose games like the one tonight if you want to stick around the playoff race. And that's why when you lose one like this, you're going to have to make it up on a win somewhere else where you're not supposed to. And that could be Vancouver, that could be Tampa, that could be Florida or Carolina. You're going to have to win games you're not supposed to now. And that's one where a team you could have jumped over in the standings.
And on
that
the road,
hurts.
too. On the road. Really good teams on the road.
Yep.
That's
the opportunity. And if Calgary jumps out and they're up 3-0 after one, you go, okay, they battle back and you can 3-3 in overtime. Great. You got a point. Yay. But that's not the feeling.
Yeah, it's all about how it happens. It's really interesting. Well, let's take a look at the punch card. And I was actually surprised to see that they haven't had a lot of overtime or shootout losses this season. This was only the third one of the season, but now that's 4 losses and 2 wins on this line of the punch card. And that's just hasn't really been following the pace of the other lines that have seen a lot more wins. So they really got to get it together with some tough opponents ahead here. And Petey, I'm curious from you what you think, like if you had to give some keys to Thursday's game now, what would they be? Like, how do you take on a team like the Vancouver?
Well, one of the things you got to do is you can't take chances against a team like Vancouver because they're too quick, they're too fast, and they can bury you quickly. So what does that mean? That means you can't take chances in the offensive zone, especially the offensive zone blue line. We talk about that high cycle with Schmaltz and Keller up top. If you're going to play that way up top, you got to have a defenseman to back it up, because if you turn the puck over there against Pettersson, you're in trouble. And you're going to end up with that puck, at least a scoring chance going back the other way. You're going to have to defend the net front better. You're talking about guys like JT Miller, Brock Besser. These guys get to the net hard. You're going to have to defend the net much better than they've done. And you've got to play against Quinn Hughes, and you cannot give that kid any ice time or open ice at all. So you got to take away time and space from him, and that means you got to stay above players. You can't dive in on the forecheck. You got to stay F3's got to stay above. There's so many little things when you're playing a team that's faster than you and better than you, that you have to defend even when you're in the offensive zone. And I hearken back to when Dave Tippett coached Edmonton in Edmonton, and we defended in all 3 zones. It was, you just defended, and you hoped that you could keep Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl in front of you, even in the offensive zone. And then you hope you're around it by the third period and you can get one. And guess what? Dave Tippett went through that with that Western Canadian swing twice with a sweep of those 3 teams.
The Coyotes used to be really good in Edmonton for a stretch. I remember that.
They owned Edmonton, period, under Tippett. Yeah, it was
they
insane.
did. And again, it's about defending. And one of the things you have to be able to defend extremely well against a team that's going to put up the kind of offensive push like you're going to get at Vancouver. You cannot let them get multiple odd man rushes against. That means no turnovers in the middle of the ice. That means you can't have defensemen diving in. You got to protect the blue line first, and then you hope you squeak out a goal later in the game and try to keep this to a 3-2, 2-1 game, and try not to let it get away from you and have one of those 7-6, 6-5 games.
Yeah, you know all the skill they have in the top 6 already. Yeah. That's obvious. It's been on display. Connor, and I don't want to give too much away, but Connor talked about how those bottom 6, those 2 lines play with a lot of pace. So it's a real challenge. Yeah, all 4 lines.
Yeah, and they don't give up much either, because Thatcher Demko has proven to be, if not the best, one of the best goalies in the league this year.
Definitely in the running for the Vezina.
Yeah. So this is a tough task, and it's not a friendly building to play in either, and the team plays very well at home. So
the fans are really friendly in Vancouver.
Hey, I will say, Raz is a Canucks fan, and he's very normal.
Yeah, he's very friendly.
Very friendly.
I think what happens is when they get together.
Yeah, it's like groupthink. Yeah. pack mentality.
It's like
Do
a
you
chemical
agree?
reaction.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they also have
By the way, Raz from Calgary, a Canucks fan. Explain that. I can't. But
the Canucks also have the fewest home losses in the entire NHL.
oh, that's good.
So put
Yeah,
that
things
in.
are looking really good.
pipe.
So it's going to be a really fun week. It's an
But this
8
is
o'clock
probably one of those.
start.
This is probably one of those Coyotes come out and win by 5. Like who knows?
Yeah,
Right.
you
You know?
really never know.
So I think it's going to be. This is all about how well they defend and limit the odd man rushes against, because this one, like the game at Calgary at home, this one could be over quick if they give up too many opportunities. And I'm really curious to see who they throw between the pipes.
Yeah, me too. Well, you can bet on that game on Thursday. I'll be curious to see the line on that one. But if you're going to bet it, make sure you do it over at BetMGM. I don't have advice for you on the Coyotes game, but I do have a parlay pick courtesy of Shane, who I did see in the chat earlier today. This one is on the next weekend of NFL playoffs, and here is the parlay. It's Texans at Ravens, the over 43.5. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers +6 against the Detroit Lions. The Buffalo Bills -3 against the Chiefs. You can parlay all three of those together for +648 odds over at BetMGM. So if you want to tail that, Shane, he knows a thing or two about sports betting. You can sign up for BetMGM, use the bonus code PHNX, place your first BetMGM sportsbook wager through the BetMGM Sportsbook mobile application of at least $5, and you receive $158 instantly. The 58 is for Super Bowl 58 in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show notes for full details. And now, in a dramatic plot twist,
What?
listen to Damon talk about the disclaimer.
Damon.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms. This promotional offer is not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
And while
Wow,
you're at
Damon, speed
yeah,
reader.
Damon, that was fun. You know what
That was
Damon needs
impressive.
after that? He needs an ice cold beer.
Yeah, he does.
And it's New Year, new beer. Bad Birdie, juicy golden ale. By the way, who doesn't love a golden ale? I think that's right down the it's not an
Yeah,
IPA,
like
Craig.
it's for
It's
everyone.
like right down the middle
Oh,
for
it's
everyone.
great.
A golden
Yeah.
ale.
Golden Ale's
It's a,
great.
it's a new collaboration between Four Peaks and Bad Birdie. Super drinkable and the perfect companion at the tea box or in your fridge. And one thing about Four Peaks, they always have a beer to fit your mood. No knock on the Bad Birdie juicy golden ale, because I'm sure it's wonderful. But tonight, after a game like that, there is no doubt that this is a kill lifter vibe for me.
Yeah,
I want
feels
that
right.
dark caramel. I want that. I want that hearty. I'm drinking a beer.
Right.
And that's the kill lifter for me. So make sure you visit fourpeaks.com/locator to find all of your favorite beers and events. Check out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's. See, like who did that? Hometown Brewery.
I saw it coming.
Did you see it coming? God, thanks for your help, Leah. Well, Arizona's hometown
That's what
brewery.
you get.
You must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks. Please enjoy responsibly.
That's what you get.
I'll learn. Learn.
Oh my gosh. Oh boy. All right. Well, I know there's going to be a lot of Four Peaks flowing at our putting party on January 24th. So the PHNX Suns crew had a takeover tonight. And the vibes were not great. I'm not going to lie.
Not good.
Like, they were down by 20, I think. It
Yep.
was not good vibes.
Not good.
The PHNX Suns crew comes back to the office. They sit down.
Didn't say a word.
Didn't say a word. They're like super down, depressed.
Down by
And
20.
Down by 20. All of a
20.
sudden, in real time, we have the Coyotes up
Up by
on one
2.
screen and the Suns up on the other.
Down by 20.
And what starts to happen? It was like, yeah, the balance of the universe shifted.
Suddenly, both games were tied.
Literally at the same
well, all of a
time.
sudden, the
Same time,
Suns
yes.
start coming back, and the Coyotes start giving up goals, and Espo is like crying in the back, like dying laughing at how funny it was. It wasn't very funny to us. And Flex is like shh
Yeah,
to everyone.
Couldn't talk.
Wait,
Yeah.
what? Flex was quieting everyone else so that he could speak
Yeah,
the entire
Flex-
time because
Flex
he was
was not
narrating
quiet.
the final quarter of that
He was
game.
not quiet.
No.
It's if you don't watch the Sun Show,
nor
you
was
should.
he clean.
Because if you knew Flex, and you should know Flex, I don't know if he's ever calm. Like,
Nope.
but Flex has a vibe.
He definitely.
So
has
tune
a vibe.
in to the Sun Show, but not when we're
Anyway,
on,
the whole
clearly.
point in that story is to say watching the Suns with those guys is a lot of fun.
That's right.
So we want you to come to the putting party
Oh, that's what we're talking-
January
putting
24th at 6:30 at Putting World, presented by Michelob Ultra. My goodness, what a cool place. Putting World. We've been out there. If you're into golfing, if you're into putting, it's really like, it's not,
There's no
it's
windmills.
not putt.
There is no
it's
windmills or
legit
clown
putting.
noses.
But If you don't want to putt, that's fine too, because the ticket gets you unlimited beer and alcohol.
How much?
And unlimited free putting as well. So
Unlimited
beer and wine.
Oh, what could go wrong?
So you can click the link, in the show notes, or visit gophnx.com to grab your tickets today. And if you're a diehard, you get 20% off tickets. If you want, you can go.
Okay.
20% off tickets if you're a diehard. One of the great reasons to become a diehard, including joining our Discord, 20% off on merch, a free shirt or hat when you sign up. Diehard only content such as Petey's Puck Talks, Craig's stories a couple times a month. Just so many perks to being a diehard, and we only continue to add more perks. So we want you to become a diehard. Anything else that you guys want to talk about tonight, or shall we wrap this one up?
I'm just sorry I came back from Dublin for this.
Yeah,
I think you know.
This is going to be interesting to see how the coaches respond to this one, because
it's almost like you can't. What can you do? What can you do? Really? You have them ready to play, but wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you sit time at the whiteboard and the video board on this one. I don't know what you're going to say. I think you will talk about driving the net and being able to get under sticks on an odd man rush, because you can't do that against Vancouver. I'm curious about the too many men on the ice penalty. I don't know. People like to blame the coaches. It's not their fault. It's who jumps on the ice, and it's overtime. Everyone wants to get on the ice, and Cooley's right by the bench, and all of those things are true. So I think you just have to move past it, and you got to start prepping for the number one team in the NHL.
It's going to be a challenge. We'll be here to talk about it live after that one for PHNX After Dark.
Oh my
on
God.
Thursday.
8 o'clock start?
Buddy. It's going to be an interesting one either way. Win or loss.
Thursday?
That's Thursday.
Yeah.
So tune in. PHNX Sports YouTube. And again, Connor Garland tomorrow, Wednesday. Audio only, wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, go ahead and hit that 5 stars for us. Leave us a review. It really would mean a lot to us as well. But you can follow us on Twitter at SPetersHockey, at Leah Merrill, at Craig S. Morgan, at Abracadanielle, and you can follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_Coyotes. Thanks so much for being here in the chat. Hit the like button on your way out if you're watching live or later. That helps us a lot too. But enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night, everybody. We'll be off tomorrow, except for the Garland interview, and then we will see everybody after the game for late night on Thursday night. Bye, everyone.
We all silly like the mayor.